afternoon, my friends. I wanted to make this video because yesterday I had a beautiful experience in my meditation and I got some insight that really clarified some things for me. I've been really thinking about how I want to live my life and what I want that to look like, and how I can manifest the dream life. And so I decided that in my meditation, I'm going to take a trip to the Akashic Records. And do you know what the Akashic Records are? If not, let me explain. Essentially, the Akashic Records are a record or records of everything ever in the universe, all possible futures and everything in the past. Each of us have the ability to access the Akashic Records and essentially find out anything that we want to know. It's a massive library. And maybe I'll do a video more specifically on the Akashic Records, but in this particular video, I'm just going to talk about my experience during my meditation that I had, and how that's been helpful to me. And hopefully there might be something in that could be helpful to you. So basically, I went into my meditation and I said, I want to access the Akashic Records. I want to meet my future self. I want to ask her how it is she feels and thinks, because I want to be able to align with that reality. And in order to do so, I need to know how future Ari feels and what her thought process is like, and if she had any kind of advice for me on how to get to where she's at. So I went into the meditation and I had that intention as I got in. I was listening actually to a guided meditation about the Akashic Records, but the funny thing was I was not following along with the words at all. I was just I ended up getting it kind of into I was just thinking and observing my thoughts. And I was thinking about the night before, and there was a bit of not, I wouldn't say a conflict, but there was a bit of something that happened that raised some questions about me, about myself, and just how to navigate a particular situation at work. Basically, there's another beautiful woman, and we kind of look alike. And something that had happened was some customers, they had said, "Oh my God, you're the most beautiful girl in the world," to me. And then they said, "Oh no, wait, it's her." And then they looked at both of us and they were like, "Wait, which one is it?" And so I thought it was pretty funny, but I could tell that there was some kind of discomfort coming from her. And ever since that moment, her and I, we were getting along pretty well, but ever since that moment, it felt like she was a little bit distant from me. So I felt like maybe there was some sort of, I wouldn't want to call it jealousy, but I don't know what it was. And I guess there's something about it, maybe that I'm dealing with. But anyway, I was observing that particular experience, and I was just observing it, and I had no negative emotion toward it. It was just an adoration of the experience itself. And as I realized that I was observing this and adoring the situation, it occurred to me that that was the message from my future self, from my Akashic Records, is that the future me, she is completely happy. She looks at every situation from the highest possible viewpoint, and that she is in love with every situation that happens to her. She learns from it. She feels good about it. She adores her life. She doesn't want anything. She has desires, but she doesn't want anything. She doesn't feel that she needs anything. She doesn't feel like she has to go anywhere. She doesn't feel like she has to do anything other than just be. And be what she is in that moment. And I felt like me observing that moment and just being and adoring it and just feeling like everything was okay. I didn't have to smooth things over with the girl at work, and I didn't have to feel like anything was wrong or that there was some kind of competition or anything like that. It just felt like fun to observe and to just have that experience. And what I realized is that there is almost no difference between my future self and my current self, other than the fact that my direction from my higher self and my future self is to just really embrace the present moment. While I may not be working the job that I want to be working for the rest of my life, I have the ability to enjoy where I'm at right now. And it goes for all of my desires, which we all kind of have the same main desires, which are money and a romantic relationship and health and like the perfect place to live. Like, while we all have a different meaning of what those desires are or how they would manifest for each of us is differently, if it was perfect, we all have those desires to some degree. And for me, like when it comes to the romantic relationship that I desire, I just feel like right now I'm allowed to be in that relationship without actually knowing who that person is and being in contact with that person or having them physically in my life right now, that like everything is perfect as it is. I am 50% of that relationship right now. And that perfect relationship requires me to be perfectly happy with who I am, because I want the happiest possible relationship. And going into that relationship being unhappy, the relationship is not going to make me happy, because the relationship is 50% me. So if 50% of that is not happy, then it doesn't work. So my job right now is to just be 100% happy with where I am and what I have, and knowing that this is part of the relationship. Just being myself and really getting to know myself and really, really falling in love with myself. And I am right now more so than I ever have been. And I think I'm damn sexy. I'll just put that out there, which really, like, I guess it is relevant. But yeah, I'm hot as fuck. I'm just gonna say. But I also, like, there are things about me that, like, I just adore. And, like, my ability to observe myself and to be honest with myself, and to regenerate and just become closer and closer to the highest possible version of myself. I think that's sexy as hell. I'm funny. I have a lot of fun. I know how to have fun. I listen to my instincts and my intuition, and I'm in love with life, and that is hot as shit. So, just putting it out there. But I also wanted to say that in terms of money, for example, I have the ability to attract a lot of money to myself. And I've been down on myself about like how I attract that money, just because I have been letting what I think people think about me affect me. And I have not actually been really honest with myself about what I think about myself. And it has become extremely apparent to me in the last couple of weeks how much I've really been letting what other people think of me be the main focus of what I think of myself, and my self-worth has been attached to what other people think of me. And what I understand now is that there is no way that anybody else could possibly love me as much as I can to myself, simply from the fact that they just will never be able to know me. They're busy, they're very busy knowing and loving themselves, if that. So there's no way that they could possibly love me at the extent that I could love myself and connect. And they cannot connect me to my source as much as I can connect myself to my source. My source is my power line to my happiness and joy, and to all the power that I have to move anything in this world and to do anything in this world, to influence anyone in this world. I have to connect to my own power. And as much as it feels good to be loved and adored by other people, it does. And I will never say that it doesn't feel good, but that's just a trickle. It's just a trickle when I have access to an ocean. And it's not that I didn't know that before, but I had a habit of thought that would not allow me to access my own ocean. And it's really just thought patterns, and just observing my thoughts. I realized that when I am looking outwardly for approval or for love or some sort of sense of worth, I simply need to just remind myself to look within and ask myself, how do I feel about that? It's not like a big surgery that has to happen in my mind or my heart. It's just a matter of just being aware of my thoughts and cleaning them up. It's like, it's like tidying your house. It's not much different. If you're not aware that the place is messy, then how can you clean it? But once you realize, okay, like, it could be a little nicer in here, and you do tidy it up, then all you gotta do is keep it tidy. So that's where I'm at in terms of like love and self-worth, and like romantic love also. And when it comes to money, like my money, the way that I manifest money, I bring joy and happiness to other people. I entertain people, and I have a lot of fun doing it. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with what I do. I'm really excited because I know there is more for me, and there is more to come, and there's more of myself that I can give the world, that I could really just elevate in that sense. And even having the audacity to make these YouTube videos, I think part of me was saying, like, no one's gonna want to hear what I have to say, or I'm gonna sound kind of silly. And that's just like, it's just a thought that comes in, and like, who cares? So what if I sound silly? So what if nobody wants to hear what I have to say? I want to make these videos, and it excites me, the idea of having them. And I know that the desire to do it is born within me, because I know I have a lot to say that could be useful to other people. And I know that. And I know that this is going to eventually reach the right people. My videos are not going to be perfect, but they're not going to get any better if I don't actually do them. And so I had to be honest with myself, like, I'm fearing the creation of these videos simply because I'm worried about what someone, who I don't even know who that person is, I'm worried about what someone else is going to think. But I have to put myself first. What do I think? I think I'm fucking excited, and I have a lot to share. That's what I really think. And I do think that I can improve on how I present myself and how I make these videos. But it's only going to happen by doing it. So here I am. Here I am living my highest timeline, getting sexy and clean in the bath, actually. I decided to do it in the bath today because I'm having really bad cramps, and being in the hot water is pretty much the only thing right now that is keeping me from rolling into a ball of pain. So I actually feel really good right now, and I appreciate you being here with me. Yeah, So that's love, money, and health. Like, dang, boy. I am blessed. I am so blessed. I have a healthy body, and I have a lot of ease and comfort in my body, aside from the fact that I have cramps every month that are like pretty cramping. But aside from that, I feel a great deal of comfort in my body. I am strong. I am fast. I don't have any allergies. I have amazing skin. I have a really good body. And that is a sign of abundance in another way. I have abundance in health, and I am so grateful for that. I realize there are some things that I have been doing to my body that don't really align with my appreciation for my body. Like drinking, for example, smoking cigarettes. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I enjoy doing those things. But I find that sometimes if I feel a little bit stressed out or under the pressure, that I tend to use those things, and I don't really take care of my body as well as I could. And so, well, I'm gonna put that in the past, because I have been taking care of my body in the last little while. I feel incredible. I'm so proud of myself. And I will say that is something that came to my attention when I did a reevaluation of my self-worth, is that, do I feel that I'm worthy of living the life that I want to live? And in that life, I eat healthy food. In that life, I do not smoke cigarettes. Well, I do sometimes, but not often. And I definitely don't do it as a way to regulate my mood. I do it as simply out of enjoyment when the timing is right. And the same thing with alcohol. I do that simply out of enjoyment when the time is right, when the time is right. It's not just because I don't know how to place my emotions. And that's something that I had been doing. And recently I was seeing somebody, and we ended up going our separate ways. And the first couple of days, I was really upset about that. And I at the same time, the whole time, I was very appreciative of that, because the reason that I was upset about that is because I tied the so-called success of that relationship to my self-worth. So if this relationship would work, then I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of relationship. And if it doesn't work, then therefore I'm not worthy of love or a relationship. That's somehow an idea that got into my mind. I don't know when, I don't know where. I could probably guess sometime during childhood, but whatever. That's in the past, besides the point. The fact of the matter is that idea and that belief did still sit somewhere in my aura, in my field of being. And so not just that relationship, but any other relationship, especially romantic relationship, would always have, no matter how good it was going or how fun it would always have this kind of pressure of it having to work to prove my worthiness. And the fact that it kept not, and up until this point, it was not going the way that I wanted to go. My partners and I would separate, friendships as well, because I was basing my self-worth off of someone else and what they thought. And I realized this last time, how apparent it was to me that my self-worth was based off of something that person decided. It was based on their decision. And instead of trying to get away from feeling terrible, instead of trying to get away from that pain, I decided to just lay down, meditate, and just feel the emotion and let the emotion speak to me. Typically, I do not like feeling bad. As soon as I get a negative emotion, I'm either trying to distract myself or possibly, get a little tipsy or just go with friends or whatever, which is not always the worst thing to do. Sometimes you really do just need to, distract yourself or get away from it. But because this is something that has been occurring for so long, and because for whatever reason at this point in my life, I was ready to face it, I was able to really just sit there and feel the emotion. And by feeling through the emotion, it gave me so much insight into why I was feeling what I was feeling. And that was exactly the point, was that I was allowing someone else to dictate my worthiness. And the entire time that we were in communication with each other, if the communication was good, I was feeling over the moon. And if the communication was a little rocky or wasn't there, I was feeling anxiety and questioning everything, what I should do, how I should talk, what I should say. And it was like a roller coaster of emotions. And while I do desire to be in a romantic relationship, I want to feel that my emotions are my own, that I don't give my emotions to someone else, and that I don't tie my worthiness and how I feel about myself or anything because to someone else. And I recognize and I understand conceptually my worthiness is set in stone. In fact, it's set in heaven. There's nothing I can do to change my worthiness. I'm worthy whether I believe it or not. However, the fact that I believe it or not is what manifests in my life. And the fact that even if I don't believe it and then I manifest things that I don't like, that's actually even more proof of my worthiness, is because I can manifest anything, even shit I don't like. Pretty powerful. But I mean, like, while I'm here, I might as well just manifest things I want, right? Only makes sense. So yeah, I'm really excited. And it really felt like it took like a couple of days to really just feel it. But at this point, like, I found myself, for example, after we had an argument. This is how the relationship that I was speaking about came to an end. We had an argument where we both kind of disagreed with what each other were saying, on how we should behave toward each other. We had disagreed about it, and that was that. But I felt afterward that I had to, even though, like, I actually realized that maybe I was being a little unclear about the truth. And that, like, maybe I could change my point of view. Maybe I had something to learn from the situation. But I felt that I had to justify where I was at. I had to prove that I had done something. I had to justify where I was at. I had to justify my thinking. I had to justify why I was thinking what I was thinking at the time we had argued. And I just wanted to prove that, like, I was okay, that I wasn't this evil whatever person that he thought I was. If he did, I don't know. Can't even say. But I wanted to justify myself. And I wanted him to think I was worthy again. So I had to, like, prove it. And I found myself, like, drafting messages in my mind, or, like, thinking of what I was gonna say. Oh, and it was all the thoughts that I was thinking about myself had to do with what he was gonna think about me. And then I thought to myself, why am I not telling myself this? Why am I not justifying to myself? Why am I not explaining to myself how I feel? Why is this about someone else? And I started thinking to myself, like, this is why I thought what I thought. I was not thinking clearly because I was upset. Of course. Nobody thinks clearly when they're upset. When you get into alignment and you get out of the situation, then you have the ability to think clearly, and you have the ability to possibly understand what someone else is saying, or, and that while I may not have acted or behaved in a way that I liked, I also feel like I'm okay. I didn't do anything that bad, by the way. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't hurt anybody. I just simply had some ideas that were out of alignment with my true self. And really, that's that. And that's okay. And like, whether or not he thinks that's okay, it's really not the point. The point of the matter is, I think that's okay because I'm only human and I'm allowed to have thoughts that are out of alignment. And I am intent on creating a environment in my mind where my thoughts are in alignment, for the most part, 90% of the time, because sometimes you have to get out of alignment just to like create new desires, right? But I do want to be in alignment more often. And that's something that, whether or not this person approves, or it's not about them at all. It's about me, because my environment in my mind is how I feel. And my environment in my mind is exactly what manifests the life that I want to live. So whether or not another person, a friend, a romantic partner, a parent, a child, if they approve of what you're doing or what I'm doing, it doesn't matter, because what's manifesting in my life and in my atmosphere is all about how I feel. And so right now, like, my main focus is to really just be aware of how I feel, and to be hyper vigilant in my mind of whether or not I'm justifying to someone else or trying to prove something to someone else in any way, or if I'm just communicating with myself directly. Because I'm tired of feeling upset. Point blank, I'm tired of feeling upset. And I know that when I'm trying to justify to someone else, that's what makes me upset. And I know that when I talk to myself and justify to myself, I don't need to justify to myself, because I feel completely understood. I always feel good and I always feel loved. And for a long time, conceptually, I wanted to feel loved by myself, but I just didn't. And I didn't know why, but I realized exactly why now. And it just has to do with the fact that I have been really just looking at myself through what I think is a lens of other people. I really don't even know what other people think about me. That's the funny part, is like the assumptions of people, what people think of me. Like, and for some reason it's disapproval a lot of the time, which makes, it's like, if I can decide, because I have no idea what other people think, if I can decide what they think, why would it be disapproval? Why wouldn't it be approval? Why wouldn't it just be pure love and pure acceptance and pure appreciation? So, and there is no reason. There is no reason. And so once now that I realize that, like, I'm the one who decides what other people think about me, or what I think other people think about me. I don't know what people think about me. I can't decide what they think, but I can decide what I think they think. And it's all good shit. Okay? I'm not going to assume that lovers are just here to use me or cheat on me or use me as their, like, side piece or whatever while they do what they gotta do. I'm not going to assume that people that I care for are just taking advantage of me. I'm not going to assume that my friends are all jealous of me. I am going to assume that my romantic lovers adore me, and that they feel that I just add a certain je ne sais quoi to their life that makes them feel incredible. And that's why they want to be around me. And that's why they want to continue to be around me. And I'm going to feel that the people that I care for and love for, that they appreciate everything that I do for them. And that's just how I'm going to think and how I'm going to feel. And I'm going to decide that my friends, they are all inspired by me. And I'm inspired by my friends. So, yeah. And also, I'm going to care what I think. I do care what I think, actually. I care what I think so much that I've been able to even come to this insight. Because if I didn't care, I would have continued to let what other people think of me be the main event. So, with that being said, I just want to say, like, I feel incredible right now. I actually don't feel like I'm having any cramps at all. I feel relaxed. I'm in a bath. I got candles. I'm making my YouTube video. And I'm just so clear and so joyous and so much in appreciation of what I have. And if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching. If not, I appreciate you anyway. And I just wanted to share all that love and blessings. So hopefully this does inspire you in some way. And I love you.